Hey everyone, so I haven't done a kind of educational video for a little while, but Mobalytics just released a desktop app for League and they asked me to check it out. But it actually made me think that there is a kind of a fair amount that I do in Champ Select before a game even starts. So I thought today we can do a quick video on things to think about during Champion Select, during loading screen, before you actually get into the game. I just want to make this clear as well, none of these things that I'm going to cover require you to download this Mobalytics app. You can do them yourself if you want to. I just want to point that out so you don't feel like I'm forcing you to do it. It's obviously easier, so there will be a link down below to give it a try for free if you want to. I genuinely think it helps, but that pie is up to you. So the first thing is the most important, and that is learning to dodge champion selects and just quit out of the client and not play that game. Every time I do this on the stream, someone calls me a chicken for not wanting to play the game, but genuinely, it's actually going to help you climb a lot faster, especially if you don't play that many games, like if you have a school, a job, or a girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever, and actually can't play all the time. A lot of people in this game are a little bit toxic, sometimes just a tiny bit. They mental boom. Sometimes they decide they don't really care. They're on a loss streak. They aren't really playing champions they've never played before. Probably sounds quite familiar, and these are all really good reasons to dodge, and dodging is actually kind of a skill that you'll need to learn if you want to climb. The first dodge of the day is -3 LP, but it saves your MMR, so the matchmaking rating behind, which decides how much LP you gain and you lose. Even though you can't see it, this number is actually way more important than your LP because it does decide how quickly you're going to climb. Second dodge of the day is -10, and at that point you might as well play it out unless somebody is actually going to run it down and you just really don't want to. So these are the things that I look for if I'm going to dodge and kind of spare myself the struggle, right? So first thing is if more than one person is off-rolled or they never play that role. And I'm going to offend some people, but normally supports being off-rolled are like the worst ones to play with because they don't really have the same kind of laning mechanics as normal. They haven't practiced that. They don't really CS very much. It's kind of the same for junglers. Another reason is if like their one trick gets banned, or if they're not playing their main champion, this can really lose you a game, definitely. But like a heavy loss streak or not really trying, and if your teammates are already fighting in champion select, but personally, I don't really care that much. You can look at their match history to see a little bit more and decide if you do want to or not, and there are lots of ways to look people up, but the Mobalytics app automatically reads champion select when you enter it. It will let you know if people are off-rolled, how many games they played, their win rate with the champion they pick, but you can also click on their names and go to their profile to look a bit more. For me, I'm going to take a look and see who is filled most of the time, and then if their recent win rate is terrible on the champion, I'll probably check to see if it's going to be worth playing. So we have Yuumi main. He still plays a fair amount of Zilean. Oh, he got his Pantheon taken away. Yikes. I think he's only playing Pantheon right now, which is not good. This guy plays a lot of Vi though, so you can see like our team is pretty good. Next up is learning what to ban. I feel like at lower ranks especially, this can really help. And there are two types of bans in my opinion, for me at least, comfort bans and general bans. We're going to go into this later, but I always say you should main a champion if you really want to climb. And comfort bans are things you hate playing against or struggle with. So for me, it's kind of Draven. Like I absolutely hate laning against him. Rakan is my new one recently, because his engaged is insane. He's lost me a lot of games, like on the enemy team. It's just really powerful. But for general solo queue, I would think this is probably the best way to do it. For general bans, you can also ban something that is really strong right now, like Pyke or Kiana, a pick that probably needs a nerf and can be really hard to play against. And that again is something you'll get kind of from playing in a general feel, or it's in the app as well. Obviously, something really important are your runes and your items, especially your rooms, obviously, because you can't change those after you go. I don't know why I'm explaining that, because everyone knows you can't change the runes, but still, you have to have like kind of a build that you want to aim for with those runes and items together. This is going to be especially helpful if you're playing normal games or if you're off-rolled. There are loads of sites you can look it up for, and Mobalytics will also give you the runes and items which you can click and import into your client, so it does it for you. Runans, Manimune, they say do this, so I can obviously import it, right? And then I've got it here. So now I have this rune page here, which is good. I can actually import this item set as well, which I actually kind of like this, so I might do it. The item set part is actually pretty clever. I use this personally because when you get into the game, the items will be there and you just open up the shop and you can just follow along with that. You can pick different builds, but these will be the most popular starting points for that champion. And item-wise, I would say like every champion has a core that you learn, right? 2 to 3 items normally that are needed, and then you can kind of deviate depending on what the game needs. Something really important, not really about champion select, but still, just don't build the same every single game. Think about what you're going to need in 10 to 15 minutes. If somebody has like 2 armor items already, but they have a cloth armor component in their inventory, they're probably going to go for the third one. And at that point, you might want some arm pen, right? So stuff like that. Now we're going to go into our loading screen. I know a lot of people are going to put their hands down the pants or like go to the toilet, whatever, but this is actually kind of important. So looking up your opponents can be a really good way to know who to abuse, but it can also kind of backfire. Me and my brother Foxshop, yes, actual brother, by the way, do this very differently because if you see a Smurf, some people panic and they play differently. That is Foxy. So he skips it and he doesn't look them up because it's not going to help him. For me, it's the opposite. I do actually want to know, knowing if somebody plays a champion very much or if they're off-rolled, it can kind of help you decide who to pick on in the game. If your lane opponent isn't playing their main role or the main champion, chances are you can be a bit more aggressive and you can get away with it because they won't kind of punish you. If you're a jungler as well and you see someone playing a champion they're bad at or they're off-rolled, you can camp them to make sure they're going to be useless in the game. Yes, it's a bit of a dick move, but you know, it's ranked, right? You have to abuse it. This part definitely sounds bad, but people on loss streaks are also very easy to pick on. They're probably already frustrated and a few ganks or deaths their way will make them play so much worse. Again, there are loads of ways to look up game stats. The app will also do it for you in loading screen, tell you the champion stats and give you them some badges as well to let you know their playstyle or kind of things to keep in mind. Another thing I do a lot in the loading screen after that is think about kind of how I'm going to win the lane phase and what the easiest way to do it is, I guess, like how a fight is going to play out. It's actually part of the app as well. It is going to tell you how the matchup goes or what the champion is good at. But if we just take an example, right? So this game I was against the Sivir. Like when her spell shield is down, that's a really good time to trade and to fight a bit more because she can't block anything. Most of her damage as well is on her isolated Q, the boomerang. So standing behind minions is going to massively reduce the damage output. So those are two really important parts. Now you can work this stuff out for yourself. You can let the app tell you as well, and the tips are from challenger players, by the way, but it is something really good to get in the habit and it will make you play the lane phase just a little bit better. This kind of leads a little bit onto team comp as well, because normally it doesn't matter too much, but having some sort of synergy is obviously pretty good, right? The important part is that you can't really control what your teammates pick, but you can be thinking about what your team is good at and kind of play to that strength. So if you have a bunch of early game champions, then you want to win lane, group and end, right? And it will actually tell you this in the app as well. If you have a couple of champions, then you just really want to group and fire spells off and get them low. But if you have really big team fight ultimates like Malphite, Sejuani, Orianna, then you really want to just group and fight. Those are very obvious examples, right? But most games are going to fit kind of into that anyway. The idea is that you just really should be thinking about how it is that you'd actually win the game, like what your team is good at or bad at, so you have an idea and you don't just autopilot. If you only take a couple of things away from this video, learning when to dodge is going to be really important. Looking up people as well to know who to focus or who to play around can be really helpful, and just really how to win your lane. The matchups can be pretty weird. It can be pretty complicated. Just spend some time thinking about it or read up from the app. Either one, it should really help you out, and you should be winning your lane just a little bit more. That is going to be everything from me though today, so thank you for watching until the very end. I don't do a ton of educational content anymore, so if you enjoy this, please thumbs it up. It always makes me feel so much better about doing it, but I really appreciate it, and for now I will leave you with robots.